Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again for another episode of Umineko. I completely forgot how to do my intro. I'm supposed to say my channel name. Hi, Joe Begadones here. Yeah, sorry about the little delay on these videos. This one and the Mihoyo video I'm gonna record after this, so be sure to go check that out whenever it's uploaded, or you can go check out the playlist for the other Mihoyo catalog and all my other videos. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. The holiday schedule at work got fucked. Like, no one is happy with it. My regular 4-day work week, I work 2 12-hour shifts normally, and 2 8, so it still equals 40 hours, so get off my back, I still work the same amount as everyone else. Turned into one of those 8-hour shifts becoming a 12-hour shift, and that 12-hour shift becoming a 13.5-hour shift, because they forgot about me, and they fucking had to sit around for an hour and a half waiting for them to get someone out to relieve me. And then I had to work an extra day today, which, fortunately, they let us out early, because they're like, why the fuck are you here? And it's like, I'm scheduled to work tonight. They're like, why? It's like, because it's on the schedule. They're like, that's fucking stupid, go home. So here I am now, at home, recording the videos that I was supposed to record the other day, but I never got the chance to because I was sleeping, preparing for my extra fucking 24 hours in the next 2 days, which only turned out to be like 16-ish. Yeah, that's about all I worked. Anyway, you don't care about the fucking intricacies of my work schedule. Let's read some Umineko. What happened last time? Rudolph Kyriate, bit it. Hideyoshi, bit it. Chiesters, I don't know, fucking 2 bunny girls from Iceland came and fucking wrecked their shit. Ava Beatrice just fucking blows regular Beatrice out of the water. Fucking get owned. Old hag. Anyway, let's keep going. I haven't really had my coffee yet, and it's like almost 5 in the morning. So I'm gonna need to drink that. Unfortunately, I actually have some coffee today. I went out of my way to go to the convenience store to buy a big old bag of Dunkin' Donuts original brew. Not the greatest. It kind of has like that chemically taste. It's better for like at least the Dunkin' Donuts blend if you buy just like the whole beans and grind them yourself. I feel that one has like a better flavor, but you know, do what you gotta do in a pinch. And I'm still rambling. Let's go. 30 minutes had already passed since Rudolph's crew had left the guest house. By any measure, their return was too late. And Kraus and Natsuki, who were waiting by the entrance, were by now about as restless as they could stand. The chain was set on the door. That was a precaution in the event that Rudolph's group was attacked and the master key was stolen from them. For that reason, they needed to wait by the entrance like this for the others to return. Well, about that. Kraus glanced between the clock and the door, struggling to feign composure.
もし彼らが戻らないようなことがあるならば。
辛い想像だが、その覚悟を始めた方が良さそうだ。やはり不用心だったのだ。
私はそうだと申し上げました。
All for some fucking like canned peas.
なぜ彼らはこれほどの危険を承知で外に。愚かなことです。ローザさんが襲われたばかりだというのに、なぜに外へ。
それを言っても始まらん。とにかくこれでゲストハウスに大人は3人。私と夏希、そして高熱で寝込んでいるエヴァだけだ。
At that time, there was a forceful sound from the hallway of a door being opened in Ava's shrieking voice. That voice kept calling Hideyoshi's name. It seemed as though the high fever had given her a bad dream or something, and she was now calling her husband's name.
エヴァさん、どうしましたか？大丈夫ですか？うちの人はどこ？
Oh, well, dead.
うちの人がいないの。ずっと一緒にいるって約束してくれたのに。ずっと手を握ってくれてるって約束したのに。
Cross was taken aback by this attitude of hers, which she had never shown in front of him before, but Natsuki understood her feelings.
落ち着いて。秀吉さんは
Yeah,
ル
here,
ドル
have
フ
some
さ
of
んた
this,
ちと一緒に今表へ出ています。
fucking, oh god, what do they give? What do they give bipolar people? Fucking, it's like lithium bicarbonate or something? I don't know. Have some of that. Take your Valium.
表へ？どうしてよ。私とずっと一緒にいてくれるって約束したのに。
Made me stutter too.
どうして表になんか行ってるの？表へ出
エヴァ、落ち着きなさい。
You're being hysterical.
秀吉さんはルドルフたちと一緒に屋敷へ戻っているのだ。
どうして屋敷に行かなくちゃいけないのよ。ここなら安全なのにどうして表になんか出したのよ。どうして屋敷なんかに戻ったのよ。
I don't know, you thought you'd want some, like, fucking canned soup.
明日までの食料を取りに行くことになったのだ。秀吉さんはお前の体調が悪いことを気にしてて。
いつ戻ってくるの。いつ戻ってくるのよ。表はダメよ。バラ庭園はダメ。屋敷はダメ。魔女がいる。黄金の魔女が歩き回ってる。見つかったら殺されてしまう。絶対に殺され
I
てし
mean,
まう。
it wasn't the plan to get him killed.
ああ、うちの人はいつ戻ってくる
No,
の。
he was off the shit list, but, you know, things happen.
30
Circumstances
分前に
changed.
ここを出ました。私たちは帰りを待っています。30分。そんなのおかしいじゃない。屋敷に行って食料を取って帰ってくるのにどうしてそんなに時間がかか
I
るの
don't
よ。
know, it's raining, the ground is probably soft, the cart could get stuck in the
それ
mud.
であんたたちはなんでここでぼんやりしてるのよ。迎えに行かなきゃ。早くあの人のところへ行かなきゃ。
Ava had probably had quite a nightmare. And after waking up and discovering that it still wasn't over, she could no longer hide her confusion. Natsuki tried calming her down, but it only made Ava's emotions explode all the more. Maybe they heard that disturbance. The lobby door opened slightly, and Battler and the kids, who should have been upstairs, poked their faces out. Kraus, Natsuki, Ava. And Battler, George, Jessica, Nanjo. Everyone in the guest house was gathered by the entrance and understood the current situation.
母さんの意見に同感だよ。父さんたちの様子を確かめに行くべきだ。まあ、そうだな。荷物が大きくなって手間取ってる可能性だってあるぜ。
Yeah,
人手は関係のはずさ。
ローザさんが襲われてすぐですぞ。二次遭難の可能性もあります。
yeah.
ここは一つ慎重に。
Squad up.
バカを言わないで。慎重に何よ。助けを求めてるかもしれない
And
主人を見殺しにしろというの。私が様子を見に行くわ。臆病者はここで待っていなさい。
Looking agitated, Ava raised her gun. Judging by her expression, it would be useless for anyone to try to stop her. George, who realized that first, raised his head.
僕も行こう。バトラ君も来るだろう。人数が多い方がいい。おう。
Yep, just split the party more, people.
エヴァおばさん。来るなって言ったってついてくぜ。
私も行くよ。私だけ安全なところに隠れてなんかいられないぜ。ジェシカは出てはなりません。ここに
What,
私とい
what
る
do
の
you
です。
plan on doing?
良いですね。
She was I thought I heard the siren starting up again outside. It was just the wind in the game. She was essentially implying that those three had already been killed anyway, so it was pointless to go outside. Natsuki also realized that she had made a deep gouge in Ava's heart, but she said those words strongly as Jessica's mother.
そうね。それがいいでしょうね。兄さんたち一家はゲストハウスで留守番してて。これはうちの家族とバトラ君の家族の問題よ。あと南條先生も来てもらえるかしら。
Pretty please, they might need first
万
aid.
が一のこともあるかもしれないから。
Well,
バトラ、エヴァ、ジョージ、南條の4人は屋敷のホールにて
found
ル
the
ドルフ、
bodies.
キリエ、秀吉の3人の遺体を発見。
Alright, how does it say they died? Again, weird. It's making me have to click the witch's side in order to get over to the human side. Rudolph? Okay, it's already on Rudolph. Duh. I'm like, well, I want to go to him when I'm clicking it. Died in the mansion's hall, with his forehead having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. From now on, they have to be finished off with stakes, apparently. Vulgar. Died in the mansion hall with her stomach having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. The stomach isn't a very lethal spot. Wouldn't it have been okay to kill her by a safer method? And just stick the stake in the corpse? Yeah, gut shots are gross. You know, all your innards turn to goo, and, you know, it won't kill you right away, but it definitely will over time. Or that or the fucking, oh god, what's it called when your shit leaks into your guts? Septus? Whatever. Hideyoshi died in the mansion's hall with his chest having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. Careless. Who knew she was still alive?
第4から第6の番ってことか。
Yep.
なら死体には、額、胸、腹にそれぞれ、例の悪魔の杭が。
Just got a fucking leg and knee left.
はい。ルドルフの額に1本、秀吉の胸に1本、そしてキリエの腹部に1本、悪魔の杭が打ち込まれています。3人には争ったか、あるいは逃げ回るかしたと思われる着衣の乱れがあります。
So not taken completely by surprise.
3人の遺体は寄り添ってはおらず、犯人と遭遇後、ある程度の抵抗を試みたと推定されます。
杭で、額と胸と腹を、相変わらず、無芸。
Yeah. Even though Runaway knew it would be superfluous, there we go, I can read it this time, he thought that maybe he should tell Battler. In actuality, the witch had killed him in a much more horrible way. Beato had advised the witch to restrain herself, which was why the corpses had been left so undamaged. The new and brutal witch, thinking that all she needed to do was get the gouged with the stake part right, might even have just stuck a stake in a lump of meat that wasn't shaped like a human. Yeah, there's an apostrophe S right there. Rosa's and Maria's corpses would probably have been especially striking. They had been killed as the Golden Witch had wished. Just how gruesome would the exposed corpses have been? Beato had changed that into a kind of killing that Battler would have called still better. Wanting to have Beato's small bit of thoughtfulness appreciated, he thought of telling Battler about it. But, for Battler, that might do more harm than good. To humans, the gap between being alive and being dead is very large. To ask for Beato's feelings to be accommodated on the grounds that she had changed into a better way of dying might have made it possible for a demon to pardon her, but there's no way it would work the same way for a human. Understanding this, Renove remained silent even though he knew of Beato's modest effort.
いつも通り、死体の死亡確認からさせてもらうぜ。ロノウェ、赤で宣言を頼む。おい、聞こえないのか？赤で宣言を頼む。副将要求だ。ルドルフ、キリエ、秀吉の3名は死亡している。
No point clamming up on us now.
申し訳ございません。副将を拒否させていただきます。
なんだと？いきなりどういうつもりだ？
By now, proclaiming the death of the victims in red was almost a given in this battle. Refusing to do that was almost like losing by default. So when Renove declined as his first move, Battler was dumbfounded.
申し訳ございません。私めのお嬢様の代行者である資格を、これをもって返上させていただきます。よって、私には、それを赤で復唱することができません。それを復唱する資格があるのは、お嬢様、ただ。
正しい言い分です。
Alright, fine, go fucking scrape her off whatever floor she's crying on.
ロノウェはベアト側の代行者でしかありません。ロノウェが代行の役を負り、かつバトラ君がベアトを相手として認めないならば、新しい代行者を立てる必要があります。
新しき代行者はおりません。どうかバトラ様、お嬢様を再び対局の相手とお認めください。
Not the most graceful effort in smooth things over between them, but if it'll work.
悪いが、そいつは聞けねえ相談だぜ。
But yeah.
あの不愉快な残酷野郎。俺は絶対に対局者だなどと認めない。それを認めないために、俺はこのゲームを降りないんだ。
不愉快な点につきましては、お嬢様に代わりまして謝罪します。また、お嬢様には二度と不愉快な言動を取らぬよう
That doesn't change what she did, though. Feelings have already been hurt.
どうだかな。
バトラ君、 あの子の師匠として私も謝罪します。よく言
Aw,
っ
you
て
can't
聞かせ
gang
ま
up
すの
on him
で、
like this.
どうか一度だけ許
Fucking
してや
peer
っては
pressure
く
his
れません
ass.
か。
おいおい、よしてくれよ。まるで俺が悪者みてえだぜ。それに、あんたらにいくら謝罪の言葉を聞かされても、そいつを、ベアトが自分の口で言えるってんなら、まあ、耳を貸さねえこともないぜ。
わかりました。それがあの子を再び認めてもらう唯一の条件ならば、あの子に謝罪をさせま
Yeah.
しょう。
Hey, Beatrice, quit sulking. Get your
No, no.
fucking ass out of here.
あの子を呼びなさい。よろしいですね、バトラ君。
I mean, it's not alright, but
好きにしろよ。だが、俺が許すと期待するな。呼べよ。あのムカつく魔女。
ありがとうございます、バトラ様。
yeah, I mean, she can come in here and say her piece, and
ただい
there's
ま
there's no stopping him from hearing it. But
お嬢様、バトラ様がお呼びでございます。
after a few heartbeats, gold butterflies gathered together in midair and created Beato's form. It was much more docile than the way she had appeared before now. Yeah, I was about to say that's a really slow fade in, from what it normally is.
呼んだかロノウェ。
話は聞いていたはずですよ。あなたの口から何か言うことはありますか。
Looked as though Beato shrunk slightly under Battler's cold gaze. Several times, Beato made an effort to get the words out of her mouth, but that didn't work so well, and she was just as awkward as someone trying to light a match during a freezing winter with frozen hands. Even as she did that, the game board was proceeding. In the hall, they had just found the bodies of the new victims and had broken down crying. Poor Battler. You never get any fucking W's. What's the point of all the gold, Ava, if you have no one to share it with?
母さん、しっかりして。僕だって悔しい、悲しい。
おそらく即死だったでしょう。たとえ彼らが倒れた直後に我々がここに訪れたとしても、きっと手遅れだった。
Hell, even in most cases, fucking pulling the stake out would do more harm than good. In a lot of cases like that, the weapon acts as like a plug in the wounds, and once you fucking take it out, then there's the cavity that just, there goes all the blood. Just boop, spilling out all over the floor.
いいえ、違う
I've watched a
わ。
lot of live leak videos, I know.
きっと生きてたわよ。胸にこんなものを刺されて、うちの人ももがき苦しみながら死んでいった。
I mean, yeah, his heart was hurting, but not because of the fucking stake,
もっと早く来ていればきっと助かった。
in all the chambers of it.
きっと助かったのよ。
Maybe take the gun from her?
バトラ君も辛いだろうけど、しっかり。
大丈夫だよ。大丈夫だぜ。兄貴。
Yep, just gotta, get it out of your system,
もうちょっ
and
と
good
だ
to
け
go.
泣かせてくれ。
Get a second wind.
俺が一番マシなんだ。俺が一番悲しくないはずなんだ。だからもうちょっとだけ泣いたら。
そんなことないよ。両親を失った心の痛みをよくわかる。僕には母さんがまだいる。バトラ君よりはるかにマシだ。
But you lost Shannon.
いや、
It's not like Balor was even that close with his folks, and it doesn't make it better, but
ジョージの兄貴が一番辛いはずなんだ。分かってんだよ。兄貴。ジョージの兄貴が。 俺たちの中で一番悲しくて辛いんだ。俺はそれを分かってる。だからこれ以上、メソメソなんて泣いちゃいけねえんだ。
どうして僕の方が辛いなんて。
俺にとっちゃ、親父もキリエさんも、成人して独り立ちしたら、いつかは別れる人間さ。親である以
They're
上
already kind of at arm's length.
子供より先に死ぬのは宿命だ。
Not always.
それが少し早くなっちまっただけの話だぜ。だが兄貴は違うぜ。
Lost someone you're supposed to be with forever.
いつか別れる親だけじゃない。これからの人生をずっと一緒に生きていくはずのシャノンちゃんまで失ったんじゃないかよ。人の命に重さなんかねえさ。赤ん坊の命だって年寄りの命だって。だがよ、それからの人生が長ければ長い
Yeah,
ほ
the more
ど、
it stings.
一緒に築いてく未来が長ければ長いほど、その死ってのは悲しいものなんじゃねえのかよ。兄貴はシャノンちゃんと婚約したんだろ。これからの人生と家庭を一緒に築いていこうって約束したんだろ。
Yeah. Emotionally wise, the emotional weight of the heaviest caskets I've had to carry when I was in the honor guard wasn't the fucking 500-pound, like, heavily ornated mahogany brass ones, you know, with some old fart in them, you know. Those just hurt my shoulders and back, you know, but, you know, the one where it's 19-year-old girl, ugh. Yeah, I didn't like those ones.
その未来のデカさが、幸せのデカさがよ、
Just some fucking kid.
俺の痛みなんかとは比べ物にならねえ。だから兄貴はもっともっと泣いても許されるはずなんだ。なのに俺たちいとこの兄貴格だからって無理に冷静を装って。やめてよ、バトラ君。
George was trying to make a calm smile, but he couldn't any longer stop a single hot tear from leaving a streak down his face.
悲しくないわけがないじゃないか。僕はシャノンと一緒にたくさんの未来を思い描き合ったさ。きっと100年の人生では叶えきれないくらいの夢を語り合ったさ。その夢の一番最初の籍を入れることさえ叶えられなくて、悲しくないわけがないじゃないか。それに比べたら俺なんかだから俺にはこれ以上
Yeah, quit having your fucking sadness Olympics to see,
兄
you
貴だ
know,
って
who's
こ
more
らえてるの
sad.
に、俺にこれ以上の涙を流す資格なんて。
同じだよ。親しい人を失えば悲しいのは僕もバトラ君も同じだよ。だからバトラ君が僕より涙を流してはいけないなんてルールはない。そして僕だって、もうこれ以上涙をこらえなければならないなんてルールも。
兄貴、兄貴。
Yep, have your bro cry. It's fine.
未来を語り合ったシャノンが死んだ。父さんも死んだ。悲しいな。
Yeah,
Kanashii-na.
probably doesn't feel too good. Good reads, though. Nice. As Battler and George tightly hugged each other, they cried a waterfall of tears over each other's shoulders for those people important to them.
どうして俺がジョージの兄貴が一番辛いって言ったか
聞いていたからわかる。
Alright, I don't know if those lyrics are like backwards or just gibberish.
その後の人生を共にする時間の長さ。悲しみは
Not quite.
比例
It's
する。
not mathematical like that.
もちろんそれだけじゃ測れねえけどな。俺たち人間はお前ら魔女とは違う生きてから死ぬまでという有限の時間をその力の限り生きている。それをないがしろにする奴は許せない。
That's why we can't accept
マ
you.
ジでや嘲笑いもてあそぶような奴は絶対に許せない。お前のような死の概念もめちゃくちゃな奴には理解もできねえだろうがよ。これから生きる時間の長さだけじゃない、一生懸命に生きている奴の人生を嘲笑うこと、これが一番俺には許せねえんだ。ジョージの兄貴はがむしゃらに頑張って人生を生きてた。シャノンちゃんと結婚するために悲壮な覚悟をしてこの日に臨んでいたはずなんだ。俺みたいに久しぶりにいとこと会えるなんて浮かれてたやつとはわけが違う。
All his hard effort should have been rewarded, not trampled over like
しか
this.
しだな、
Beatrice.
ベアト、今は黙って聞きなさい。
お前の言い分にも一定の理解をする。お前には自分の復活のためにおかしな碑文に沿った殺人を続ける必要があるってんだろ。だからその範囲内でのお前
Yeah,
の
like,
殺人
you
が
know, you gotta do what you gotta do, but you don't gotta like it
お
so
前の
much.
立場の事情を汲み取る限りそれがお前にとっては必要な行為だからだ。
No, it's like you can't hate a fucking like a what's a good animal? I don't know, like a lion for eating gazelle. You know, it's just doing what it's got to do. But like, you know, if it's just like sitting there ripping off all its legs and like swatting it around, then that's kind of like, ugh.
ならそれ以上の不要な行為は全てお前の無意味な残酷主義ということになる。つまり第一の晩に6人を殺すことまでがお前にとっての必要な行為なら顔を砕くとか腹を裂いてお菓子を詰め込むなんて真似は
You
全
did
て
all that just for
全
you.
く不必要なお前の残酷趣味だってことになる。俺はお前のこの点について断じて許すことができないんだ。お前はローザおばさんがひどい殺され方を繰り返された時
Yucking it up.
結局は最後には生き返らせるのだからどう殺したっていいじゃないか
Sure mattered to Rosa.
みたいなことを言ったそうだな。ワルギリアに聞いてるぜ。
それは
Yeah, you got fucking ratted on.
最後には生き返るなら何度殺してもいいという考えは命をもてあそぶだけの全く不必要な行為ではないのか。殺すなら人思いに殺せ。もてあそぶな。殺さないならいたぶるな。お前は人の命を自在に操れるのをいいことに命の尊厳を忘れてしまった。だから俺は認められないんだ。命の重みを、そして失った時の悲しみを知らない奴を俺は
I got a mouth. No.
無限の魔
This big
法が
moment,
邪法と言われるゆえんです。無限の魔女に有限の概念はない。壊す、殺すという有限と終焉の概念がないのです。それゆえに無限の魔女は時に生と死の狭間を
I
ゴム
don't know
取
what
りで
Chinese
遊ぶ
jump
かの
rope
よう
is.
にその行き来を遊び出すようになります。それはとてもとても恐ろしい
Is that
こ
like
と
double
です。
Dutch?
だから私は無限の魔女として自ら望みあなたの域まで達しなかったのです。
Virgilia had told Beato that countless times before. But Beato had been too young to obediently listen to those words. She had been too wild. She had been possessed by that detestable pleasure.
壺を割ってはならぬと言われてきた。でも
Yep.
だからこそいつか割ってみたいと思っていた。そして無
He
限
gave
の
in to
魔
the
法
call of the void. It's like when you're standing up on a high place, your brain just gives you the, haha, wouldn't it be funny if we just jumped off? And it's like, whoa, no. And it's like, oh yeah, I guess you're right.
いくら壊しても
Same thing like too when you're cooking, it's like, oh, I have a knife, I could just like stab someone right now. And it's like, damn, that's crazy, I shouldn't do that. but the part of your brain that's like, maybe I shouldn't do that, you know, just not kicking in.
楽しかったのか。
それを禁忌の蜜と呼びます。人はその中身に惹かれるのではない。それを封ずる錠前に惹かれるのです。実に嘆かわしいことです。
ワルギリアに聞きたい。無限の魔法なんてものがどうしてあるんだ。それは何のためにこの世にあるんだ。
I don't know. What does
無
anything
限の魔
exist?
法に限らず、魔法はすべて人の世に幸福をもたらすために存在するのです。
But it's a tool like anything, and you know, a hammer is used for fucking hammering nails. You know, build a house to keep you and your family warm, but you can also just use a hammer to fucking cave someone's head in.
今さらバトラ君には信じがたいでしょうが、私たち魔女は人の世に恵みを与えるために、人と人ならざる者たちとの架け橋に
I
な
don't know,
るべく
Virgilia.
修行を
It
重
seems
ねて
like
いるのです。
you're the only one who seems to follow this ethos.
死者
All
を
the other
繰り返
witches
し
seem to
蘇
be,
らせ
you know,
何度もいじめ殺すことで
doing some fucking
ど
weird
う人の
shit.
世に役立つってんだ。
Well, besides Burn, she's more neutral than anything. You know, she's willing to throw a bone, but like people like Lambda Delta, ew,
大切な形見の壺が割れてしまった時、
in need of correction.
それを直すことで誰もが笑顔を取り戻すならば、私は何度でも魔法にて直すでしょう。しかしそれは壊すために直すのではありません。人に幸福を与えるために蘇らせるのです。
だとしたら、ベアト、お前は無限の魔女。
Yep.
し
Just fucking taking the magic around for a joyride.
今、俺は漠然と思ったことがある。どうして俺がお前とこんなおかしなゲームを延々と続けてるのかな。
I don't know, because you're like, I can fix her.
これは俺を屈服させるためのゲームじゃない。お前が本当の意味で無限の魔女に認められるための試験ではないのかってな。
The real Umineko was the friends we made along the way.
知らぬわ。わらわがそなたにゲームを申し込んでいるのは、単なる暇つぶしだ。
I mean, it might have started like that at first,
誰
but
の思惑でもないわ。
俺は今ワルギリアからの魔女の定義を聞いた。それによるならばベアト、
you ain't a witch.
お前は魔女ですらない。その修行の途中で自らの力を誤解した見習いってことになる。これは魔女と人
Yeah,
間の
just a
戦い
little
の
high on your own supply.
ならば魔女でないお前に俺の相手としての資格はない。わかるな。
わらわはまだ見習い風情だと申すか。ならばわらわはいつそなたの対戦相手だ
I don't know, when you stop
再
being
び認められ
such
る
a
のか。
fucking crazy bitch.
いつこのゲームを再開できるというのか。
さあな。それは少なくとも
Yeah, that's on you.
今じゃない。お前が俺の言った話をちゃんと理解できて、俺はお前を再び
Yeah, go off on your
ゲー
training
ムの
arc.
対戦相手だと認めるだろうよ。
そのような抽象的な言い方ではわからぬ。どうすればお前の許しを超えるのか。はっきり。
いいや、これで
Damn it,
十
your
分。
cadence, such long pauses. So you think you finished?
あとはお前が考えろ。俺が言いたいのは以上だ。理解ができないならワルギリアやロノウェに相談してみろ。お前みたいなガキンチョはまず大人の言葉に耳を傾けるところから始めやがれ。ワルギリア、
Yep, ball's in your court.
ゲームは一度
You good
中
with
断
that?
する。ロノウェが代行を降りた以上、あとはベアトで対局者としてふさわしい資格を持つのを待つしかない。
了解しました。ベアトがその資格を得たと認められるまでゲームを対局者不在のまま進行させます。
Just have it play out?
ベアトも
Okay.
それでよろしいですね。
異論はない。わらわは時間と
Just playing
ゆっ
against
く
the
り考え
game
られ
itself?
る場所が欲しい。
In this case, Beatrice Eva.
これにて席を外してもよいか。
ああ、いいぜ。
それでは。
No, it's gone from PvP to PvE.
待てよ。そう、しょぼくれた顔をすな。
それはすまぬ。わらわは胸の内がすべて顔に出る勝負。偽れる。
Not the worst trait to have.
なら、
Just that most of the
まだ
shit inside your
当然の
heart
う
is
ちはあるって
twisted and
ことだぜ。
fucked.
一つだけ約束する。俺はお前とのゲームに勝つかもしれないし、負けるかもしれない。お前が戻ってこなけりゃ不戦勝ってこともあるだろうよ。
At that point, Balor stopped talking for a second. Then he spoke forcefully.
しかし絶対に俺からは降りない。お前を不戦勝にだけは絶対にしない。お前が再び俺の好敵手としてそこに座るのも
Well,
俺はずっとここで待っているぞ。
good thing we have until the fucking end of time.
バトラ様。
ありがとうな、バトラ。わらわはきっとそなたに認められて戻ってくるぞ。
Smile you later, nerd. Beato showed him a very slightly hopeful smile and disappeared. Looking at that expression, Balor strongly believed that her face could tell no lies. The 7 survivors returned to the guest house once again. By now, it was clear that those who went outside would not be able to return alive. Rudolph's group had gone out holding 2 guns and 1 master key. Those had been lost. It was more than clear by now that they had been stolen by the culprit. Since the windows were closed with the shutters, they wouldn't open even if the culprit had the master key. They sealed the front door and all the other doors to the outside with chains, and further blocked them with sofas and tables. Even though the culprit decided to break in through violent means, it wouldn't be easy for them.
台風が今となってはむしろ幸いかもしれんな。もしも晴れていたならゲストハウスに放火するという手もあり得たかもしれん。
そもそも台風でなかったなら
I mean,
午前中に
they
船
still
が来て
could. You know, are the shutters like completely blocking the window? Because all they have to do is fucking throw a Molotov inside, and you know,
それも不幸中
all
の
the shit
幸い
inside the house will burn.
エヴァさん、体の具合はいかがですか？無理をされないようにしてください。
ありがとう。熱はまだ感じるけど、そんなことを言ってる場合じゃない。子供のためにも今は寝込んでる場合じゃない。
After crying so much in front of Hideyoshi's body, Eva had now gained a strong self-awareness that she was a mother, and her expression conveyed a strong will. Actually, her fever still hadn't gone down, and she was aware of that. Whenever she wasn't galvanizing herself, she felt the fever starting to make her mind hazy again. By this point, the first floor was the final line of defense made by Kraus, Natsuki, and Eva. The children and guest, Nanjo, had been strongly warned not to carelessly come downstairs. If the culprit used a ladder or something, it probably wouldn't be impossible for them to attack from upstairs. But it wouldn't be easy for them to break those sturdy shutters from such an unstable position. It was comparatively safer upstairs compared to downstairs. Battler and George had hoped to remain downstairs as well, to fight in the worst-case scenario, but Ava had rejected that. In her mind, George was now her only family. It seemed that she didn't even want to expose him to the danger of coming downstairs to the first floor. Perhaps Natsuki could also understand that feeling. A great deal of time had now passed since they had once again barricaded themselves in. In the cousins' room upstairs, Battler, George, and Jessica were sitting dazed, their ears not even registering the TV that had been left on. For a while, Nanjo had been there with him and had tried to send them words to cheer them up. Send them words to cheer them up. Okay, I guess. You could have just said talk to them. But when he realized that he might actually be having the opposite effect, he disappeared into his own upstairs room. George kept looking dazedly at the photographs inserted in his notebook. Inserted in his notebook. They were from the time he had taken a vacation to Okinawa with Shannon. Shannon's happy smile was contained in those photographs. Oh god, I fucking hate palm trees. I hate the heat, and I hate the humidity. It just so happens that most places with palm trees are places, with both those things. George could remember the temperature and the humidity, the warmth and strength of the wind, and even what he'd been talking about with her at the time those photos had been taken, as clearly as though it had been yesterday. So to George, they weren't simple photos, but a door to bring back warm memories. In this room, even though the sound of the typhoon and the TV should have entered George's hearing, it was the scenery of Okinawa he had seen with her and her laughing voice that reached his eyes and his ears. After meeting Shannon, George had made the decision to be reborn. He had sworn to separate himself from the timid person he had once been, easily caught up in the atmosphere, unable to refuse a request, and easily used by those around him. He had resolved himself to become a strong man who would make her life even more joyous. So, if he hadn't met Shannon, the man called Ushiromiya George would probably be living a very different life. And the George of that different life surely wouldn't have been as excellent a man as he was now. The way he was now, the way he was now, he was for the sake of Shannon. But if that same Shannon was now gone, he found himself wondering why he exists. Isn't it completely meaningless? A deep, deep sadness, as though he himself had become empty. That feeling had tormented him the whole time. However, till Battler had told him, he hadn't been aware of the feeling himself. He finally remembered that he should have cried much, much more. So he had cried. Just like Battler, he had cried himself dry. By now, his eyes were bright red and swollen, and he could not cry anymore. So George did his best to change his way of thinking. He decided to think that he was not meaningless, that he should be grateful to Shannon for giving him such a character. Dead lives are not revived. He would have to get over being separated from his beloved. If he were to come after Shannon by killing himself, she would surely be deeply dejected. It would be the same the other way around, too. If he died, and Shannon chased after him, throwing away her own life, he wouldn't be able to forgive himself. So, he chose to surpass his emotions of sadness and anger, and decided to thank her. Meaning Shannon had made his days rich and full, and had taught him the meaning of working hard for other people's sakes. As a result, she had shaped him into the person he had wanted to be. He thought he should thank her for that. By doing that, he tried to quell his sadness. But each time he did, he remembered Shannon's smile. He knew it, logically. He understood that grieving any more than this would only make her grieve in heaven. Yet he couldn't stop his sadness. And it's all because Shannon had to go and break that mirror. What a shame. Good character growth for you, George. Shame I don't see you leaving the island. Crying shame about that.
なんで人が死ぬってのはよ、こんなに悲しいんだろうな。
People are social creatures. We're hardwired to do it. Battler muttered. It's as though he was speaking on behalf of all humans. Probably hadn't been asking anyone, but Jessica answered.
別れはどんな形でもいつも悲しいさ。でもそれが 例えば老いであるとか何かの時間であるとか、あらかじめ約束されていて、
You know, you can prepare
い
yourself
つか
for it.
訪れる別れであると分かっている者は、その悲しみを長い時間をかけてあらかじめ薄め
Makes
て
the
おくこと
pill
ができ
easier
る。
to swallow.
それを許されないから、突然の不幸は
No,
悲
but
しいん
when
だ
it,
ろ
when
う
it
よ。
sneaks up, you know, like that, it's like someone just fucking plopped a dry, salty horse pill in your mouth and told you to swallow it in one gulp.
なるほどな。
And not even like a good horse pill like Xanax, just
そ
like
りゃ
fucking one of
病
those
気にでもかかって
one of those ones where it's like the
何
size
年
of
も
a
昏
tube
睡
of
状態に
lipstick.
なってりゃ少しずつ心の整理もついてくだろうけど、
Just gut that thing.
ある日突然じゃその暇もねえもんな。
It's like a
本来
punch
な
to
ら
the face.
数年をかけて薄めるべき悲しみが一度に押し寄せる。そりゃ辛いわけさ。時には人の生涯に傷を残すほど深い悲しみを与えることもあるかもしれない。
Yep.
生涯に傷を残すほどか。
じいさまのオカルト趣味もさ、そうささやかれてたんだよな。
Yeah, you know, he lost Beatrice and he got so fucking broken by it. He just fucking started doing magic in his fucking attic upstairs.
例のベアトリーチェって愛人を大昔に亡くして、それが悲しくて悲しくて立ち直れなくて。
It wasn't a very healthy coping mechanism, but you know, it was a coping mechanism.
それで死者を蘇らせるためのオカルトの研究に残りの人生を全て捧げるようになったのではないかって、そうささやかれてた。
だとしたらじいさまは最後の土壇場でその奇跡を成し遂げたな。犯人は蘇ったベアトリーチェで、じいさまは殺される瞬間に再会できたってことになるぜ。自分で蘇らせてそれに殺されるとは皮肉な話さ。
I'm sure he was happy with even that.
それでもおじいさまは会えたんだろうね。人生の半分を閉じてもう一度会いたいと願った女性にわずかなひとときとはいえ再会できたんだろうね。
Yeah, he got to have his, you know, his happy like JoJo ghost going to heaven, you know, that thing, even though Kinzo's definitely going to hell.
丸焼きにされちまった
That
け
dude's
ど
a
な。
fucking sinner.
人生の半分をかけた研究にしては
That bitch going all
ち
the
ょ
way
っ
to
と割の合わない成果だろうぜ。
そんなことはないよ。
dude's gonna be fucking Hitler's new tennis partner.
たとえほんのひとときであったとしても
Okay, maybe he's not that bad.
愛した女性に再会できたおじいさまは幸せだったはずさ。仮に生命の摂理に逆らった罪を神にその身を焼かれ地獄に落とされたとしても、その見返りの再会が
Maybe he'll just be playing like
ほんの
bocce
わず
ball
か
with
な時間だった
Lovecraft
と
or
しても
something.
ね。
I don't know.
上司兄さん、
神の怒りに触れてこの身を焼かれようとも構わない。わずかな時間でもいいからシャノンを再び蘇らせてくれるなら、僕は残りの人生すべてをおじいさまと同じ研究に捧げるよ。
So what is your affinity for magic?
5分でいいから
We
シャノン
know,
ともう
we
一度
know
言葉を
Battler
交わした
supposedly,
い。
you know, isn't very, you know, isn't cut out for it really.
1分でもいいからそれと引き換えに全ての人生を捧げても僕は構わない。
兄貴。
When Battler and Jessica realized that their pointless discussion was hurting George, they had no choice but to shut their mouths. George directed his thoughts at Kinzo's life. I saw him sacrifice half of his life to research that no one could understand. And on the last day of his life, he revived the person he loved most, and probably succeeded in his reunion in his final moments. Don't know how much time they were able to spend together. Don't know whether they were given an hour or just 5 minutes. However, in that moment, all the time he had sacrificed for his research must have been rewarded. Even though he spent decades to gain it, that small amount of time must have been enough to reward him. Until today, I never believed in the occult or magic or anything. Somewhere in my heart, I've even made fun of grandfather's research as nothing more than an indulgence. However, I won't make fun of it anymore. No, to the contrary, I strongly believe that does exist. If that power of belief can become miracles, I'll probably throw away all of my studies up until today. Spend the rest of my life from today onwards studying magic. Give me the power of magic. And a miracle which lets me meet Shannon again. Oh, what silly
ごめんよみん
thoughts.
な。僕もどうかしてる。魔法で死者が蘇るくらいだったら世界中の人々が魔法を学ぶだろうね。でも現実にはそんなことはない。誰も学ばない。死者が魔法では蘇らないって知っているから。ごめんよ、妙なことを言い出して。僕のせいでおかしな空気になっちゃったね。みんなだって辛いだろうに。気を使わせ
It
て
is what it
ごめん。
is. Even though I did it to divert myself from my sadness, maybe I did say something strange. If I keep talking about something so weird, I'm sure it won't heal their sadness. But even so, that doesn't mean I can withstand this silence.
僕は下に行ってもう一杯コーヒーをもらってくる。うちの母さん、コーヒーの入れ方にはこだわりがあるんだよ。みんなもおかわりはいるかい？
I mean, black is fine. Though I am all out of coffee, I just have like the little bit left in the bottom of my mug, which has gone ice cold. Battler and Jessica-chan lightly shook their heads. Without being any more persistent than that, I took my mug and left the room. I did visit Dr. Nanjo's room to ask whether he wanted any more coffee as well, but he said he didn't want any more. It seemed as though my mother's orthodox method of making coffee wasn't universally appreciated. One time, I had Shannon drink some that I brewed by that method, but she told me that while it was delicious, it was a little strong. And if I remember her words...
Shannon.
That's no good. Even though I left the room to change my mood, the image of Shannon's face that's filling my head hasn't faded in the slightest. The fun days I shared with her were becoming more and more vivid, and I felt sadness that I was not even allowed to see her dead face. According to her parents, it seemed as though she was killed with something like a gun or spear. I'm sure they were just trying to console me, but they had said that her face in death had been very beautiful and peaceful. I wonder if she's wearing the engagement ring I gave to her last night. If she accepted my engagement, she should have had it on the ring finger of her left hand. Last night, our heads were both full of each other, and weren't composed at all. Shannon had accepted the engagement semi-boldly, but she must have regretted that as a rash action once she cooled her head. She might have taken the ring off. I wonder if she has the ring on now. I at least want to be sure of that much. I want to know final feelings. However, even if I do check that, it's not as if she'll be revived. I wonder what will happen to her body. After the autopsy, I'll probably be immediately cremated. Oh yeah, the Japanese like to cremate a lot, don't they? That's their go-to. Then, I'll never be able to see her face, even her dead face, for all eternity.
僕はシャノンを失ったショックで少しおかしくなってるの。
And I guess some of them do a thing where it's like, all right, here's the cremains. Now everyone gather around and get the special chopsticks and take out the bone shards and put them in the urn. I guess that's a thing that gets done sometimes. A little morbid, I'll be honest, but you know, different cultures, different strokes for different folks. I don't want Shannon's body to be burned. If she's burned, she'll turn to ash. Never again will it be possible for her to revive. They say that cremation is disliked in Western tradition. And only Catholics, really. Because on the day of resurrection, there would be no body to revive. Because of that, seems that great criminals in Western history were often cremated after execution as a punishment, and their ashes were sometimes scattered in rivers and such. In other words, to Western people, death is nothing more than a sleep until resurrection. It is essential that the corpse is left after death.
つまりそれは西洋人は死者が蘇る奇跡の存在を知っていたからなんだ。でも日本にはその奇跡がなかったから。
Yeah, all you need to do is accept the ever-loving love of Jesus Christ into your heart and everything will be okay, bud. It's just that easy. Now I understand. I understand why Grandfather idolized the Western occult. From the beginning, it had all been only for that reason. Just to revive the person dear to him, Grandfather spent the rest of his remaining life researching the Western occult. The situation surrounding us right now is abnormal. Grandfather had revived his beloved Beatrice, and that Beatrice had carried out a terrible serial murder, with chains of locked rooms that were impossible without the use of magic. I don't know why that sentence just murdered my brain. Moving on. The Golden Witch Beatrice, the incarnation of the miracle of the Western occult. And also, the culprit who killed Shannon. I should hate that being, and yet, for some reason, I want to cling to the hope she represents. I wonder if she could use that miraculous magic that Grandfather spent his life espousing to revive Shannon. According to the Ushirmiya family legend, Grandfather met with her long ago and was given a vast quantity of gold. And if I also met her, instead of gold, would she give me Shannon's life? In return, she can impose any kind of devil's contract. For that, I would sacrifice all of my remaining life. George possibly couldn't have believed or noticed that, right behind him, the witch herself stood, listening to his voiceless wish. Beatrice had been listening to everything George and the others had said since their discussion just now in the cousin's room. Battler told her that she didn't know the weight of a human's life, and wanting to understand that in her own way, she had stealthily visited and listened to their discussion. She's like, how you do that easy? I mean, probably. You'd get some brownie points, that's for sure. Beato looked at the palms of both her hands. She had handed over most of her previously surging magic power when the new witch had succeeded the name of Endless Witch. Of course, even now her magic power still made her worthy of being called a witch, but did not even compare to her previous strength. Yeah, fucking bringing one person back, that's small potatoes. Oh, speaking of potatoes, I'm definitely gonna order some like home fries with my breakfast today. I finally got my new debit card in the mail because my information got stolen and someone tried to order like fucking $700 worth of shit online. But fortunately, my bank's like fraud prevention system caught it, and also Target. I guess Target, like when I was talking on the phone with the lady from the bank, she's like, yeah, Target is like even better than us in most cases with catching shit like that. I'm like, yo, what the. Like, I guess that's good, but I feel like it should be the other way around. But, either way, I got my money back, and I also got a new debit card, which meant I had to spend like an hour and a half going to like every single website I possibly could and just changing all my card information over to the new one. So that way when like reoccurring fees come, I don't get bombarded with emails saying like, hey, your payment got declined. Inside her head, she thought about several magical methods for reviving the dead. Even magic that she could do easily in the past would be difficult for her current magic power. She thought of something, then clicked her tongue, and repeated this several times. In the end, she finally thought of a single spell. But that was a spell that she couldn't use by herself. It was a spell that witches with weak power used that relied on the aid of others. In the past, Beato had looked down upon that type of magic. Therefore, she frantically tried to think if there wasn't any other possible spell. But in the end, she couldn't think of one, and slumped over in self-derision. And then, careful not to surprise him, she softly called out. Softly to George's heart.
後ろ宮ジョージ、わらわの声が聞こえるか。
Ooh, it's me, the ghost of Beatrice. Ooh.
聞こえるとも。あなたは誰だい？本当に魔女のベアトリーチェ？それとも僕の悲しみが生んだ幻想なのか？
Does it matter?
もしも前者だったなら僕の願いを聞いてほしい。そして後者なら僕をそっとしておいてほしい。
Conversations in the world of the mind are a lot like those in a dream. When you dream, haven't you ever had the experience of casually accepting something that would have been absurd in the real world? The conversation in this world was like that. So even though a witch appeared and started talking to George, he was not surprised.
わらわが黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェで本来わらわとそなたこうして会話を交わすことなどできぬ。
But, you know, Rokujima, it's a closed-off world, you know, making some exceptions.
しかしそなたがわらわのことを強く意識し
And your mind is thinking of Beatrice, so Beatrice is able to, you know, get in there easy.
こうして互いのチャンネルを合わ
Yeah,
せ
your sine waves are matched.
シャノンを殺したのがあなたなのか？あなたを名乗る何者かの仕業なのか？ただあなたが本当の魔女として存在しているならばどんな対価にも応じる。僕の命を望むなら今すぐに捧げてもいい。どうかシャノンを生き返らせてほしい。それが無理ならせめてわずかの間話をさせてくれるだけでもいい。
Yeah, everyone like has those wishes, but you're not supposed to give in to the self-indulgence
お願いだ。
対
because
価はいら
people
ない
die when they're killed.
その願い
本当にシャノンを。
だが反言の魔法を扱うには
What?
今のわらわには魔
You
力
need to get
が
everyone together in the house and hold like a fucking Sabbath?
だからそなたの手を借りねばならん。
僕にできることならどんなことでも。それが僕の心臓を今すぐこの場で取り出すことであったとしても
Gross.
僕は躊躇しない。
そんなものいらぬというのに
Yeah, well, if you're gonna try, the quickest way is to go under the ribs. Don't go through the rib
わらわ
cage.
は魔法を唱え
Go like in the diaphragm, then you just stick your hand up.
さすれば冥府の扉に隙間ができよう。だが今のわらわにはその隙間よりシャノンの魂を連れ出せるほどの力はない。しかしシャノンのことを強く思うそな
Be
た
the magnet.
その思いを魔力に変えて
And
彼女の
Beatrice will be
魂を
like
必
the
ずや
string
連れ
holding
戻
the
せるだろ
magnet, and she'll lower you down, and you can pick up the, you know, like the spare change that fell through the grate that is Shannon's soul, and then she can fish it up.
う。どうだわらわを手伝うか。
手伝うとも。シャノンの命が蘇るなら僕は何を失うことも恐れない。
George's fist shook in silence. Then he slowly regained consciousness. He had been absent-mindedly standing near the window in the hall the whole time, his mug still in his hand. And the witch from his dream was still there.
そんな夢じゃない。
静かにせよ。今のわらわはとても脆い。この上さらに他の人間まで現れたら
So shh,
姿を保ちきれぬ。
don't cause a scene.
そなたの願いは叶えるから今は沈黙せよ。
Keep your like psychotic breakdown to yourself so that way people don't stick their heads out into the
Yoi.
hallway. George covered his mouth with both hands, forcefully nodding several times. As he did, he almost dropped the mug he was holding. George frantically juggled it around and caught it. He was afraid that if it fell to the floor and made a loud sound, the witch's form might disappear like a bubble popping. He softly set the mug on the floor and stared once again at the witch in front of him. Her form didn't disappear. It wasn't a dream.
さあシャノンが眠る客室へ行くぞ。そなたの思いの力にて彼女の魂を連れ戻すの。
行くってどうやって？
I don't know, jump out the window.
下には母さんたちがいる。表へ出るのを許してくれるわけがない。それにあなたはさっき他の人間が現れたら姿を保てないと言わなかったかい？
そういえばそうだったな。下にはクラウスたちがおった。
Yep.
それでは確かに下へ降りられぬな。ならば1階へ降りずに屋敷へ行けばいいで。
Are you gonna fucking sprinkle some fairy powder on us and we're gonna Peter Pan?
かん
Beato laughed as though she had thought of a pleasant prank. And with her golden pipe, she lightly tapped a window with its shutter closed. When she did, 3 gold butterflies appeared from the pipe and opened the lock on the window as though melting it. Ooh. Then the window opened without a sound. The shutter beyond it was exactly the same. The clasp unset itself, and without making a sound, it quietly opened. The window opened, exposing the wind and rain outside the mansion. Perhaps because of the direction or something related to the construction of the building, the wind didn't blow inside. Because of that, for a while, George felt as though this entrance opening to the outside was a dream or illusion, and he couldn't accept it as real.
さあ行くぞ。ついてまいる。
Beato gently floated upwards. It was a natural action, like that of a diver enjoying an underwater stroll. It made it easy to believe that if you acted like she did, you too might be able to float in the sky as though you were swimming in the water. Oh, George did believe that. So without thinking, just as she had done, he also, gently, as though swimming in the water, he moved his feet. I was joking about Peter Panning it, but
ほうやるではないか。わらわが説明するよりも早く空を舞うことを覚えた。
it's called a bleeding heart, Beatrice. It's the real magic. George was shocked to find himself floating in midair like he was swimming. Of course, Beato was also shocked that George, who should have been unacquainted with magic, learned how to do it just by instinct.
空が飛べるなんて泳げるなんて。
理屈を考えてはなら
Yep.
ない。
That'll just make you fall and break your neck.
それが自然なことであると受け入れる。ニュートンとかアインシュタインとか人間たちの競技を思い出
It's
して
like when
は
you're
な
having
ら
a
ぬ。
dream. Don't think about it too hard, or otherwise you're gonna wake up.
特に高き空を飛んでいるとき墜落する未熟な魔女も時に
あるがままをあるがままを。
George repeated those words over and over. You must not deny magic. Oh, what did I say? You must not deny magic, no matter what. I don't know what happened in my mouth there. I was like, deny magic. To deny that would be the same as to throw away what might be. His first and last chance to revive Shannon. However, compared to Beato, who was elegantly drifting like smoke, George's movements weren't clearly similar. George's movements were clearly similar to someone underwater. Therefore, if he didn't make a movement like kicking his feet in water every once in a while, he'd be slowly dragged down by the force of gravity.
わらわが初めて空を舞った
Hey, do what you gotta do to make it work.
上出来であると褒めておく。行くぞ。ついてまいる。
Beato beckoned to George and gently flew into the stormy sky as he doggy paddled after her. It's just like a scene from a fairy tale. The scene unfolding before George's eyes felt entirely like an extension of his dream.
空を飛べるのはすごいけど、すごい風と雨だ。
Yeah, I was in the wind this weekend. It was awful.
なんだ。
It was already
雨
like
と
20
風に
degrees
苛ま
outside.
れるのか。
And then it was like 17-mile-an-hour winds just cutting through like a knife.
それを防
It
ぐ
was
魔
awful.
法を教えてもよいが、今のそなたには早いし。
Yeah. Let him learn how to properly hop on one foot before we teach him to like pat his head and rub his stomach at the same time.
僕が必要としている魔法はそれじゃない。
Without losing to the wind and rain, George wore a strong-willed gaze.
見えてきたぞ。もう少し頑張れよ。今落ちればバラの茂みだぞ。
Yeah, I don't want to do that. That might sting. The undulating rose garden was spread beneath the witch and George's gaze. This fantasy-like scene no longer surprised George. Only the gradual approaching mansion was reflected in his eyes.
シャン、待ってて。必ず君を蘇らせてみせる。
Yeah. Meanwhile, the cruel new witch could be seen staring at the guest house from a new location. If I really want to do this good, I could learn how to properly do a mid-Atlantic accent and be like a 1950s newscaster. But that would probably get grating after a while.
あと2人で先代のババアの義理はおしまいだわ。クラウスと夏日を殺す。夫婦仲良くね。
Oh, I'm sure they'll be oh so happy about that.
にひ標的はどうかにゲストハウス1階ロビーにて標的2名と後ろ宮エヴァを捕捉反魔法力測定410へデータリンク410データ受領反魔法力は極めて小
Yep.
エヴァさえ席を外せばまな板の上のマグロにアワビですにひひひいかがしますか大ベアトリーチェ
What's
長
abalone? Is abalone the snail? I think it is. I'm Googling it right now. Hold on, let me get the spelling right. Because I don't want to Google the wrong thing and be like, oh yeah, and say something that's completely wrong. Abalone. That's... Yeah, it's a common name for a group of small to very large marine gastropod mollusks. I see them in coastal foraging videos because I'm one of those people who I just like seeing people walk along the coast in like tidal pools, like not scavenging, but like, you know, finding some good shit they can like stew up, and you know they'll like pop them off rocks. They look like well, they look like a rock, but just one big shell, and they got one big foot because it's a snail, so their base is called a foot, and they just like pop them off, and it's just like big old snail, but not like a snail. It's a mollusk, large family. I like snails too, though. Like escargot. Probably the last time I had it was when I was up in Vermont. There was a good German restaurant. I had it like it's like escargot and scallops and like a cheese sauce. Really good. The texture is fairly similar to like most other shellfish, but remove kind of like the, I don't know, kind of like if you somehow remove the seafood flavor from like a steamer or a mussel, that's kind of like what a regular snail tastes like. Good. I liked it. That's my fucking French genes kicking in.
ご命令をいただければすぐにも狙撃いたしますどうかご命令をほんとにあんたたちは便利な家具ね死体をほじるしか能のない中古家具どもとは大違いだわねえシエスタ姉妹またあなたたちの手際を見せてちょうだい
Damn, just like right off the bat, no foreplay? Just diving straight in? Going for the kill?
死体をまた運び出してねたっぷり遊んであげるんだから文句はなしよロノベ
はいかしこまりました
He says through his teeth. At that time, the witch noticed something. As though some presents had disappeared. Was it her imagination?
今何か気配を感じなかった。
Nope, nothing at all.
誰か感じた人いる？
申し訳ありません。私は何も気づきませんでした。私たちゲストハウスを観測中でしたから周辺監視はオフにしてます。にひ。ルシファーちゃんは何か気配感じた？
Even if she did, she wouldn't tell you. For just an instant, Lucifer sent a glance at Ronove, questioning whether she should answer honestly or not. Ronove gave a small nod in response.
申し訳ございません、ベアトリーチェ様。私たちは何も。中華家具ゆえ。
He said in the most obvious lie the world has ever seen. If only you had, like, more than 2 brain cells in that head of yours to rub together, you might actually come up with a thought and be like, wait a minute. He seems awful docile right now.
そう。大悪魔のあなたがそう言うなら、
A little buttering up is all it
きっと
takes for you,
私
huh?
の気のせいなんでしょうね。
The witch stared persistently in the direction the presents had disappeared to. That was the direction of the rose garden. And beyond that, she could see the mansion's dark silhouette created by lightning. It took her quite some time before she pushed her unsatisfied feelings aside, and once again turned to face the guest house. Oh, no tick, all happening at the same time. Real magic. Believing heart? But with that is where we're going to end it here for today. Once again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. I'll see you all next time for the next episode of Umineko, which hopefully there won't be any more delays because I'm on vacation this week. And then I'll be working like 7 days straight of 12-hour shifts. So, yeah, I'm going to try to fucking bang out a good backlog in this week I have off. So that way, you know, on those weeks, I'll probably get a couple cutouts early because it'll be during the New Year's week that I'm working, and there's nothing going on ever during those days. So usually we come in for work for like a couple hours, and then they're like, all right, try to find something to do, so that way we can say you did something. And we knock out something easy, and they're like, all right, go home, keep your phone on, you don't drink. You know, come in if we call. And it's like, yes, sir, and then we leave after like 2 hours. So I'll probably have a couple of those days where I'll be able to record, but no guarantees. Nothing's guaranteed. Nothing in life is ever guaranteed. Except that you guys will be back next time for the next episode of Umineko. That's right, guys. That's right. You'll be back. You won't leave me, right? See you next time. Bye.